everyone. This is Mike Manjos, and welcome to Market Wrap. So we are back in Philly this week. The Giants actually won a game. This is starting to look like a season in the NFC East. And everybody seems to be getting a little bit better. A lot of celebrating going on in Philly this week. Hopefully things will start getting back to normal now that the election's behind us. So we had 3 amazing watches come in this week. And it was really a tough choice this week because everything was colors this week. So we're going to start with one of my favorite new watches this year. It's the Rolex OP41. And this particular one is the red coral. It's the first time I had seen it in person. In pictures, I was like, oh, the red might be a little strong. It is awesome. It's a cool look. It's a great size. Now I understand why these things are commanding the premiums they are. It's just an awesome piece. Great to have one in the collection. I'm sure it's not going to last very long. The second piece is another colored Rolex. Now this one is the Day-Date from last year's introduction, and it's the green ombré dial. Hard to say that 3 times fast. Silly name, but an amazing kind of vintage feel green dial. If you guys remember the vignette dials of the 80s and 90s where the kind of dial faded from color to darker, it's just in a great piece, beautiful ladies piece, great green color. Love that in the collection as well. And the last piece is something really special. So it's a Gronefeld. It is just an amazing stainless steel salmon dial. It's a brand you don't see a lot of because they produce very, very few. But coming from the Netherlands, the finish is amazing. I love the fact that it's the brothers. Just a really cool watch that if you study, I'm sure you'll truly be impressed with it. Love what they're doing. Hopefully they continue to grow and be successful. So the stock market responded really well this week, not only to the election, but obviously talks of a vaccine coming through soon. So everybody seems to be a little more upbeat. And we're starting to feel that a little bit in the watch market. It was a really busy weekend, busy couple of days of the week, and we're really starting to see a lot of action. I think we're going to continue to see the market stay strong through the end of the year. Obviously, we're coming into holiday season, so I think the strength and the confidence people have gotten from the market, certainly in the short time, is going to pass through to the watch business. Now, I spent Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, mostly online in the morning, following the sale at Phillips. Phillips had a 2-day sale, Friday and Saturday, and then on Sunday had the retrospective sale. And Phillips sales are always some of the most interesting. They had an amazing collection of product, especially in Sunday's retrospective sale. I thought it was fantastic. We had talked about a couple of the pieces last week, and it was great to see what the results came in at. So basically, the Journe market, super strong. Everything sold still at about the top level of the market they'd been. Real strong bidding from all over the world. We're starting to see the Asian market come into the Journe business. I think a couple of them did end up going to China, but really good to see the strength staying in Journe. It seems like every brass movement is now at least a $100,000 watch. Again, these were pieces that 2 or 3 years ago were 30, 40, 50,000. Now they're all turning into 6-figure pieces. But the most interesting thing I found on Sunday was the Lange pieces. So they had a Lange anniversary. That brought just north of 50,000. A great result. It's a 500-piece limited edition, enamel dial. Love that piece. But the real interesting Lange was the yellow jacket. Now, we talked about this datograph, yellow gold, black dial. They made 30 pieces. I really thought it would hit over 100,000. It hit 197,000 all in. It's a huge number for a Lange, especially one of the datagraphs that's kind of a classic model. It was a real breakout result, and I think it's going to spread to the rest of the Lange market. I think you'll see more and more datograph interest when you can get a pink gold for 40 or 45,000. It's a big spread, so I think you'll see some strength in that market. The last piece that I saw there was, of course, the Dufour. Now, Dufour we've spoke about as well. He did a prototype 20-year anniversary piece, 3 hands, just incredible. Estimate was 200,000 to 400,000. It brought $1.5 million. Now just take a step back for a minute. $1.5 million for a 3-hand watch is unprecedented for sure. Now granted, the market's telling us a couple of things. One is Dufour is considered the top watchmaker. Every piece that's coming out now is getting a new record. It's considered now art. I think it's made a transition where he's made so few pieces. Somebody wants a piece from the master before he's done doing what he's doing. So I think now we're seeing levels of this market that is different from what we've seen certainly in the last 5 or 10 years. We're seeing people really value rarity and quality, and they're seeing the spread between normal watches. I mean, there were a lot of nice Pateks in the sales, and they sold well, and they sold at what we would consider normal prices. But the things that really broke out, and what we're seeing in the market, is people are chasing really fine, really rare, really special pieces, and not necessarily just from the biggest makers anymore. So for years, the only pieces that brought exceptional results were Pateks and maybe some really rare vintage Rolex. But now we're seeing Journes, we're seeing Dufours, we're seeing Gronfelds really bring some great market prices. Really an interesting market right now as it's spreading out across the world. So the last thing we're going to talk about today is what we are buying. The first thing is Moser. It's kind of our new favorite brand. I'm sure you've heard about it on some of our shows. We really love the brand. We're also seeing the streamliners are getting a huge result. Everyone that's hitting the market is getting sold basically right at retail. Now a few of them are starting to trade over retail. It's certainly pieces we're actively pursuing. The second piece that's always one of my favorites is a Lange, but the double split this time. Now this is the really big split chronograph, split minutes, an amazing piece. They didn't produce a lot, so we don't get a lot of them. I've got a couple in inventory, but I'm always looking to acquire those. And the last piece we're really looking for now is the Seiko, or the Grand Seiko more specifically, but the seasons. The limited edition, spring, fall, winter, they're amazing. I especially love the summer, but they're really great pieces we're always looking to acquire. Well, I hope you enjoyed this week's Market Wrap. Look forward to seeing you again next week.